Alright, so next home map is gonna be for SuperAfim. Apparently water in hole. A defensive map and very good for Egyptians yet again. Well, that's a nice spawn, isn't it? Big gold mine right inside your base, and it seems to be the same for both. Yes, it is. It is the same for both BoIt and SuperAfim, and well, they're having so much gold, absolutely everywhere, even behind the base right now for SuperAfim in the corner. Then he's having one quite close by on the left, with some extra elephants and a TC also. Quite nicely positioned, but otherwise it's basically the same for BoIt. Also having extra gold mine in there, but the fourth one is going to be quite far away in the mid, and on the very next page of the map, basically on the left side. And if he can somehow wall this map, which he definitely should be aiming for, he's gonna be having a pretty sweet trade, plenty of hunt, which might be irrelevant at that part of the game. But the gold is most definitely not gonna be irrelevant, so this is a fun spawn. Fun spawn for both Egyptians. They are gonna be hoping that it's not the same for the opponents, but it is, so it's a fair game. Fair game, and gonna be quite fine to watch. A bit better trade route, of course, for SuperAfim right off the bat. He's going to be moving trade from this position all the way to the back TC. And since he's cut off, it's going to be fairly easy. But at the same time, it has to be said that if BoIt is going to be controlling the water, for example, from this branch of this river, or what is it? Some kind of weird pond. He's probably going to be targeting all the caravans coming across the shoreline, which they should be coming through here. Well, looking at these woods, of course, they're gonna be coming through here, and that will result in pretty big problems for SuperAfim, and he should be really expecting that and keeping that in mind, as we are looking at pretty decent amount of rhinos in the middle, and also the positions of the front TCs, and quadruple elephants right next to SuperAfim. Interesting, but at least plenty of rhinos for BoIt as well, so not really that much of a huge difference, and rhinos together with lions, so that's a lot of dangerous hunt all across the map. But also some rather innocuous one in the cranes. Anyway, to go back to the TCs, it seems like that they are basically the same for both players. Slightly better the one on the right, on the left, this one, because it's next to gold. So potentially could be some kind of advantage for him, for the player who actually takes this. This should be BoIt's. It should be BoIt's, but it's gonna be a bit tricky. And considering that he does have the water in there yet again to control it, it still could be considered his a whole lot easier, in a whole lot easier way than for SuperAfim, and quite probably SuperAfim is going to be a bit more inclined to the one on the right. It does not cover this gold properly, but with proper gameplay it should be, and I kind of think even if, or rather especially because of the potential trade in the later game, he should be a bit more inclined to control the right side of the map because of that, and through that also control halfway the water. This TC, is it in range? Water ends about here. I don't think so. If it's gonna be in range, it's gonna be damn close, like basically the last range. But I don't think it's actually gonna be in range of the water all that much. This TC is safe, and there are not really any other TCs, just this one from this water. So yeah, that's probably going to be only problematic TC. But I'm kind of thinking for SuperAfim, because BoIt should be able to control this. We are getting at 3.5 minutes. Where BoIt is gonna be dropping the temple, his opponent probably as well. Yet again a bit slower. It seems like that they are basically picking up a bit different strategies basically the whole time. And BoIt coming for the faster advances, and to be honest, so far it's working quite alright for him. The first two games were kind of unfortunate, I'm thinking. And if I'm remembering right, so it basically kind of made sense that SuperAfim will be winning so fast. He basically recognized what the maps were and played accordingly. But yeah, that's not really the case anymore. So right now we are looking at pickaxe from the red player, the opponent. I'll be thinking he's not having pickaxe. Oh, actually he is. Okay. So he's having pickaxe as well. So both are going for the same strategy. We are on a high hunt map, so we should be expecting faster heroic at those 7:30 or something like that. We have seen already advanced at about 7:10 on the Ghost Lake, and that worked very well indeed, because SuperAfim was even advancing a bit later than that, at about 8:10. And he definitely doesn't want to. He doesn't want to repeat that at all. He doesn't want to repeat that at all. Yeah, a bit of a bit of a meeting of the priests in here. And yeah, as you are saying in the chat, this could be a very long game. I kind of thinking this would actually also, in a way, could be a short one, depending how the players actually play. But since we are at 2-2, I do agree that it should be heading into a longer game and a bit more careful one. If it was like the first, second game or at the 2-0, I'm thinking that one of the players could have been quite aggressive and tried some funny stuff, like maybe steal the opponent's DC or drop the Migdol in unsafe position or whatnot. But yeah, it's probably not gonna be happening now. They are even advancing at the same times, so I do agree that it should be resulting into a bit of a extended fighting. So all the economy upgrades are gonna be probably the same. Yes, they are. Looking at 2 villages building armory. It's absolutely the same. You can see 2 villages on wood. Where are the woodies? Ah, he's actually sent the third one in there. It seems that BoIt actually wants to be advancing a whole lot sooner than it actually is projected for by the armory build-up. Right now, the elephant's definitely gonna help in the economy. He's having how many hunters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 6 here. And that's all? It's almost looking like that. Where is actually blue? Ah, he's in the middle. Yeah, he's having 5, I think, if I look at this correctly. So minor differences in there. But BoIt should be already advancing. He's right now coming. Oh, he's having the idle in there. That's a bit of a shame for him, of course. Right now going to be having this. But where is Pharaoh? Ah, right now coming back. Going to be empowering. And is there going to be a bit more efficiency for SuperAfim? Apparently not. Because SuperAfim doesn't even seem to be ready to actually advance. He's still empowering full. Right now getting enough of it. So he's gonna be moving somewhere forward into the gold mine. And yeah, you can see that BoIt is gonna be advancing about maybe even 20 seconds faster. And much more importantly, well, that's a weird prosperity. That's an absolutely weird prosperity for SuperAfim. He was, of course, getting resources from this mining camp. But he could have had a bit more efficient one in there if he waited basically for this mining camp to be finished. He probably didn't want to wait for the 3 villages, but maybe he could have afforded it. He's still gonna be advancing quite a bit later, so I'm not sure it's gonna be making all that much of a difference, but I gotta guess that he knows what he's doing. So he needed to cast that, and still, even if he knows what he's doing, it definitely looked a bit more inefficient than what BoIt did, and it's really looking quite alright. This is sad news. Oh! Yeah, coming for this. With the soul villager getting attacked, and right now she's on the left, so potentially could be killed sometime soon. And this Migdol, that's a very, very defensive one. I would have been thinking that since he has seen that he has advanced into the next age quite a bit sooner than SuperAfim, he could have gone basically for the mid. Place the Migdol either next to the settlement or next to the large gold mine. I'm not entirely certain which. But yet again, BoIt playing a bit more defensively than I actually think he could have afforded. I really think that he could have afforded to be a bit more brave. And it would have yielded quite good results for him. But still, he advances faster. And this is looking very similar to the last games. Yeah, fast advance, faster production of units. But this time it's gonna be a bit more difficult. But very confused why actually SuperAfim isn't walled. He's having such an easy time of walling. Those 2 short walls would be just doing a whole lot of good job for him. But apparently that's not really happening. And right now this ritual is going to be summoning the obelisks from the depth of wherever it comes from. And seeing plenty of elephants in here. And of course going to be healing even some chariot archers in there. As they should be having a bit better numbers. As apparently the prestige tower is already coming down with fully defensive Migdol. This is a fully defensive one. But he has the gold. He has the gold in the back, so he just doesn't need to move anywhere. He's having so much gold absolutely everywhere across this map. The only thing that I'm confused about is why he hasn't walled. He just needs to do it. Because right now he's going to be falling back. He's going to be falling back, and well, of course the siege towers are gonna be a bit of an issue. And I kind of think that BoIt is actually eyeing this TC. That's why he might not be advancing forward. He's maybe gonna be waiting for a bit more gold to get the villages up and steal the TC from his opponent, because the one on the left is more or less in his power, especially through the water. He's gonna be able to actually control it quite fine. And units, yeah, combination of camels and chariots with some extra priests because they need to take care of the potential ancestors coming up. So coming forward. This almost could be looking like defensive ancestors for SuperAfim sometime soon. Because he doesn't have all that much of an army to get rid of all of those siege towers. And they are a pretty significant problem for him. Because they're taking plenty of damage, and the camels, yeah, they could be just basically easily singled out by BoIt. So moving forward, very nice relic for better Axeman hack attack. Right now SuperAfim asking, or rather going for all of this, and there was a lot of room in between those. For BoIt to cast it as well, but he apparently didn't want to. Because I'm fairly certain he could have cast it himself. And he's basically right now going to be happy in making his opponent use the god power, but of course he right now should be already retreating home. And if I were him, I would be basically trying to distribute the siege towers. One going to top, one to the bottom, to basically slow down their destruction, because that's what he needs to right now do. He needs to slow all of this down. Yep, right now Migdal being empowered to actually produce a bit more units, because he will need all the production that he can right now get in there. Because he's gonna be getting a bit tricky. He probably doesn't have correlations, as he doesn't. So right now the fight is going to be switching next to Migdal, but with the ancestors right now dead and no siege towers up. But wow, he's actually having really no siege towers. He's having only the Migdal. He hasn't actually bothered to build siege works yet. He's moving for the DC, which is gonna be right now curious to see if BoIt is gonna be countering with his own ancestors. Second TC for him in the meantime coming up, as second has already finished for SuperAfim a bit earlier. This is probably gonna result into ancestors from BoIt. He should be having enough time to stop it yet, but still. Come on, you need to kill the Pharaoh. BoIt, you need to kill the Pharaoh and... yeah, he has wasted it. If he killed the Pharaoh right off the bat, as he could have, he would have slowed this down significantly to actually help himself. But right now, I'm not all that certain. He's gonna kill maybe a few willies. A bit of army in there. The siege tower is of course gonna be quite significant. And well, there still isn't any kind of siege works coming up. So still, those guys are pretty annoying. Well, he's gonna kill a few extra villages in there. Siege tower is still gonna survive. And well, siege works finally at least attempted with funeral rites on the villages. Not on the priest. This was not well played by BoIt. Not well played at all. Because he wanted to stop the TC, he didn't. And I'm kinda thinking he could have. If he actually just sniped... well, that's hard to pronounce. Harnet Geriotev, yeah, probably. That's gonna be the name of the Pharaoh. But that didn't happen, and of course the extra TC fire definitely is noticeable in the battle scene there, as he's apparently going to be even using the elephant in there. Yeah, going at the Rupuru village, who is just chilling out, farming in there, not paying attention to the elephant, and his friends start shooting at him, and yeah, he's gonna be taking the blame for that. That's kinda classic. Kinda classic, if anything. So BoIt from TC also being captured for him. He's giving the gold quite a bit better positioned for him. A bit better positioned in there. He needs to be careful about the lions, of course, as they are in decent numbers, but of course he could be also... This is the same case as with the elephant in there. The lion, he wasn't able to find anything to kill on the left, and he just switched to Wendy's anger against this huge siege tower. Well, that was a bad idea if I ever saw one. So moving ever forward into this position. So it seems like that we are gonna be heading into a bit of a stalemate, but SuperAfim leading by 500 points. That's a huge lead. That's a huge lead because he was having some better fights. He's having the second DC for a lot longer, the third one as well. Not really that much longer, but still advantage for him, and the upgrades are not bad. You can already see the shaft mine from red, but I would be expecting the blue could be having it as well. Yes, he does. There was some upgrade more, right? What was it actually? Or it wasn't. I was just blind in there. But anyway, trade is already up. And it's coming quite close to the water, exactly as we expected. So there is a significant opening for BoIt. Drop a dog here and control the trade. And that could be basically quite easily the way for BoIt to win the game. It still will take quite some time because there is plenty of gold for red to be had. Not any kind of upgrades on the units apparently. Yes. Still everything just normal, as is usual in faster heroics for the Egyptians. So yeah, I'm really thinking that this could be fairly easy to fight in the middle, unless this gold runs out, which is gonna be kinda sucky as well, because I'm not certain that the villages can actually fit behind it. So maybe it's not gonna be efficient gathering from it. That's gonna be a bit of a problem for BoIt. He at least does have the one in the middle, so yeah, that's something. And with the Migdol being built in there, oh well, that's gonna be tricky. Basically to prevent potential meteors, I'm thinking. The monument in there, this is nicely played, and a very good idea by BoIt to basically secure the gold and this part of the map. Well then, well then, well then, well then. This is something, the water should be something that BoIt needs to realize 100%. Yeah, even villages coming after the siege. Well, yeah. Interesting idea to basically tank some damage, but I'm kinda thinking that this is slightly better than mercenaries. Much more importantly though, the Migdol is a huge problem for SuperAfim and something he didn't expect, and I'm not certain why he's still engaging in the battle. He should be retreating. A, he's losing the battle, that's quite evident in here. B, the Migdol is just basically game over for you right there, or rather battle over right there. He should be just already somewhere else, not losing units like this. But the 45 TC, nice upgrade, gonna produce some extra population limit and help with the defense, but this was fought for like half a minute or a minute too long. SuperAfim should have retreated, as the Migdol is attempted, and is BoIt gonna... Oh, BoIt, fast, quick, go there. Pharaoh, not sure why he's fighting and not empowering, that's a mistake by SuperAfim. It's gonna cost him the Migdol, of course. Because this quarter of the hit points already would have been up if the Pharaoh was empowering. That was actually a pretty crucial mistake right now by SuperAfim, as he's not gonna finish this important part of the map control in there, and that's probably gonna result in pretty significant problems. Yeah, the siege verse coming up, times 2, but that's not gonna be working, and I'm fairly confused why this guy is still fighting and not doing anything else, because second Migdol is up for BoIt, and this is definitely aiming for full control of the mid by BoIt, and it's going to be just a question of time before this is going down, even through the 45 TC, and I'm thinking at this stage, only thing that could save SuperAfim would be faster mythic, and meteors in here, because unfortunately BoIt still hasn't protected this part, and if meteors come into those Migdols, they're probably gonna hit the gold as well. Yeah, well, not good, not great. You should be repositioning the villages so that they fit between the mining camp and the gold, so that you can avoid a bit of a bumping in there, which is definitely going on. Mercenaries coming up, siege verse coming up as well, and yeah, well, tough times coming right now for SuperAfim. And BoIt is definitely having the advantage right now, even though he is losing by 700 points. He is the one that is right now pushing, and pretty well so. Even the villagers right now trying to get rid of the siege towers. It just needs to be played well by BoIt, and it's kind of curious that he's not really producing some kind of good units to help himself against all of these siege towers, just using some mercenaries. He could definitely be using a few camels here and there to help himself, yep. And right now he has finally done that, and will be able to basically move from defense into a bit of an offense, and be a bit more annoying right next to your opponent. So Migdol, this one probably is gonna finish. I don't see how BoIt could be getting that fast enough. Yeah, this is gonna finally finish, so that's good idea by SuperAfim. I'm just gonna check, for example, on the economy overall, because I'm interested how it's going in there. All resources total by about 2-3,000 better for SuperAfim. Otherwise, the current state is more or less the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same for both, so not really any kind of advantage. Right now, right at this spot, they are not advancing it to Mythic anytime soon either, and it's looking like that actually SuperAfim is having quite a more comfortable game, which is a bit curious, to be honest. I would have been expecting that BoIt, with all the extra supporting fire, would be slightly better off, but apparently not the case. Not really the case, and the mercenaries coming from SuperAfim are really playing quite a significant role, and it's going to be because of the trade, of course, the slightly faster economy. Not necessarily having the bigger resources, but the economy is just faster, because he's having more units producing for him. And I'm just kinda disappointed and sad that BoIt hasn't realized, he hasn't scouted it yet, I think. I don't exactly know how much of a scouting he has on the enemy side of the map. I don't exactly think that too much. He might not have realized that there is a very good way how to kill SuperAfim, and that's to build the dock, build some cabinets, and you can say goodbye to all your trades, SuperAfim, and good luck with that. You do have enough gold in that, but still you will be losing the edge against the blue player that you have in through that basically extra echo in there. And that's a very efficient trade, of course, because it's running all across the side of the map. And yeah, well, that would have been helping quite significantly. Even the lion got somewhere, rather somehow, into the fight. So finally, we are looking watchtowers coming up. I was maybe expecting that it could be actually the monument, expecting that the SuperAfim is gonna be advancing into Mythic. Apparently not. Apparently not. 45 TC researched. And, well, he said he's having Masons in there, so that's gonna be helping keeping the Migdol alive. But the Migdol doesn't have any extra upgrades like granulations. Could be potentially helping against some of the Chemos and some of the mercenary cavalry guys for some better track rating. But with the towers being up, it's gonna be even easier for him, because of course towers are even better against horses, especially with the granulations. Oh, elephants. Now that's an important switch. That's a very important switch, and unfortunately for BoIt, that's a switch that he cannot make. Because looking at the economies, we are looking at plenty of farms from SuperAfim, but BoIt is having like just this. Even next to his TC is having just 3. So he's definitely not ready for any kind of food economy. And it's going to be very hard for him because he's fully reliant on those chariots. And the camels are going to be... Even the camels are going to be in short supply. You can see he's having some of them, but not really any kind of huge number. And that's not looking all that great for the blue player, but definitely great for SuperAfim, who is pushing the advantage, even though he's losing the elephants in that. Well, with elephants coming into the game, he definitely needs granulations. He absolutely needs them, especially with the supporting fire from the towers. And here they come. Yeah, looking at the granulations, and in that case, he still could be able to defend. Because elephants, even though they are good, they are not good enough against what is here. Double Migdols and gonna be triple towers. They're just gonna die like twice to all of that. That's supreme damage to all of them. Even though bronze shields and copper mail, they're good upgrades. Just copper shields in there. Very good upgrades in there. As the Migdol is down, one of them. And that's of course a pretty big problem right now for BoIt, as he's gonna be falling back. Going to be trying to replace the Migdol, as he needs to somehow protect the rest of the gold, and much more importantly, he needs to protect this part of the map, because as soon as you lose the second Migdol as well, and it's basically open on his TC, it's gonna be more or less game over, I'm afraid. As I don't think he's going to be having enough fight left in him after that. But still, they have pretty heavy losses right now for SuperAfim in here, as he's trying to push back at this. And well, unfortunately, not having boiling oil, so he cannot shoot at the elephant in here, which is exactly what he wants to do. But still, all the extra damage from the tower is definitely helping putting the elephant on the ground, in the line position. So towers still coming up. Mercenaries also coming up quite significantly, elephants also. So yeah, it seems like that actually the game should be going a whole lot better for SuperAfim, but it isn't, and it's going very well indeed. And I just can't stop repeating it. This game is all hanging in the balance on the fact if BoIt realizes that he can destroy SuperAfim straight. Once that happened, it would have been like... I'm not wanting to say game over, but get in there very soon. Get in there very soon. If that happens, but unfortunately it's probably not gonna happen. Oh, SuperAfim the first into dove. And yeah, you see the crucial mistake of ISIS not building monuments. He's gonna be losing all of this. So goodbye towers, goodbye gold, goodbye Migdols, goodbye game. This is gonna be goodbye game, I'm thinking, if there's a good hit to Migdol. Oh, there wasn't! Oh man, actually maybe the gods could have saved right now, BoIt. Well, still, the two lost towers are a pretty big deal, especially against the elephants. So it could be still happening, but still that could be a way. That could be a way for BoIt to actually fight still. But he needs to boil in oil. But the catapults are an issue. The boiling oil is quite important because of course the elephants are gonna be trying to get onto the Migdol. But yeah, well, pretty big mistake by BoIt not to do what SuperAfim did. placing the monument in there, because right now, BoIt, even though he might be advanced into the next age, he's not gonna be able to use that to his advantage because of this monument to soldiers, and he's gonna be basically stuck with a more or less useless god power, because SuperAfim is playing it correctly. Anyway, the catapults are going to be a bit of a problem, with engineers on top of them already, to get even the better siege towers, but still it's pretty equal. But yeah, those catapults might be all the difference that it needs to actually push forward. Double bronze right now for SuperAfim. For BoIt, it's just the baseline of upgrades. And yeah, BoIt is recognizing that the catapults are gonna be the difference. And I'm thinking it might be also because he doesn't have enough food to even think about the mythical age. Yeah, he doesn't. He's absolutely toast. He wouldn't be able to do that. But right now, he's probably seen that the trade was free for the taking in there. All he needed to do, drop a dock, build like 3-4 cabinets, and he would be forcing SuperAfim into something a whole lot different than what he was doing in the middle, by potentially buying yourself time to get somehow properly into the game. And yeah, you can see that it was unfortunately inefficient, and the villagers weren't able to get at the back. So nice goal, but unfortunately not that awesome, and it seems like there was a bit more room for SuperAfim if he wanted to go for it. But anyway, nice game. Very nice game, and SuperAfim is going to be inching into the lead yet again. So SuperAfim winning everything by quite some margin, to be honest. Whew. You can see the bonus from the trade. Well, 14,000 more gold, so you can kind of see how SuperAfim was having the edge in there. And in that case, of course, it has to be said that BoIt played supremely well if he was able to overcome 14,000 gold difference in an egg mirror for such a long time. And even 7,000 foot in there more. Well, you just need to say and give props to BoIt for staying in the game for such a long time against this beastly echo. Well. Well, that was a huge difference in there. And the heavy reliance on the chariot archers for BoIt. I've just seen this from him in basically all the games. He's super reliant on them. It's just his main go-to strategy. It's kind of tricky. It works if you are fast to advance, which he usually is. But then it switches into the disadvantage if the battle is not won and you don't get fast advantage for yourself. Well, anyway, GG.